Hello everyone, Pierce Nation here. Welcome to a new deck profile. Not so new. This is my Dinomorphia deck profile that I was talking about when I was going to locals this morning. Which is now almost 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm still trying to do videos. This is my 4th attempt of this deck profile. So I will go through it very, very quickly. And I will explain things after I do the deck profile. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I did go 3-1 today at locals, made top cut, lost first round top cut to mikanko. So this is a budget build, I will say. So not everything in here is final, which is definitely a thing. I'm missing the Zark package, which is the main package I need, and the only expensive card is the Brave Eyes card that I currently don't have, and the Zark itself. So I play 3 Dinomorphia Theresa. I play 2 Dinomorphia Diplos, 1 Miscellaneous Saurus, and for the last monster I play in the main deck is 3 Ash Blossom, and that is all. These are mandatory. Any build you see, not playing this, not playing these, they're doing something wrong. I'm gonna tell you that right now. First and foremost, I played this deck the most of just about anybody. I understand how to play what. So now we're getting to spells. Spells pretty simple. Fossil Dig, 2 Duality. Once I get my 3rd Frenzy, I will cut a Fossil Dig, but these will remain. I don't play Prosperity, because in this deck it is a really bad card. I'm not going to go further into details till after. That way I can make sure I get my deck profile out this time. But Prosperity is a really bad card in this deck, and I do not advise anybody to play it in the build. So traps, obviously your fusers. We're going more into detail, but I'll just tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of this trap. But I will play it at 3 because you're supposed to max out on them all. Not supposed to, it's mandatory. And tonight it really showed because there were game states where I could have went 4-0 tonight, but I didn't because I didn't have the right cards in the right situation. So next of all, we play 3 Intact, 2 Sonic, and 1 Alert. I think these are all standard. This might be more standard at 2, but the 1 was enough for me to see it. There were some games where I did want to see 2. I'm not gonna lie, but that being what it is, I don't think my mindset will ever change on these cards. So. That non-engine, we got 3 Goes to Match, 3 Solemn Strike, Judgment, 3 Imperm, 3 Ferret Flames. Pretty simple, right? Everything in here is going to stay except for the Imperms. The Imperms I'm going to take out for the Soul of the Supreme King, which I do have. And I believe that it is better than Imperm going first. I will slide Imperms going second. And there are cards I'm using to get Imperm if I need it. So that is all for the main deck. That is the entire main deck. It is at 40 cards exactly. Do not play it anymore. But for the love of God. Extra deck is pretty simple, clean cut and dry. So with the extra deck, you play 3 Stelpergia, 3 Kentragina, 3 Rex, 1 Lagia, 1 Chakanine, 1 Bobor, 1 Typhon, 1 Zeus, and 1 Psychic and Punisher. That is the entire extra deck. In a nutshell, this is all going to change except for this stuff. Because I believe these 2 will stay, these 4 will change. Or 3 and maybe cut a Stelpergia. But that's beyond the point. Cards are super good, and I made a few of them tonight. I didn't actually make Psychic in tonight, which is a shame. But I was stuck under Go to the Match for the most of it, which is basically what I want to do because it stops me from getting super polyed against really good super poly decks. And also, if you can lock your opponent into 1 type and they play multiple, you win the game. So side deck is pretty simple. Nothing out of the ordinary for me, if I have to be honest. So let me go ahead and Need that to be first, because that is actually an engine trap. I don't think I'm going to cut that, actually. As much as I probably should cut that card, because it'll never make the damn thing. But, so we're going to start off with 3D Shifter. I always play D Shifter. The one card I have not sighted in 2 days in a row. Dinomorphia Brute. I have never sighted in this card. There hasn't been a situation where I've needed this card. It just never comes up. I personally just don't like it. So I think I'm gonna cut this card. I think so. Because you gotta destroy Dinomorphia and then a card your opponent controls, which is really, really bad. I do not like Brute. Gotta be honest. 3 Rivalry of the Warlords, 3 Anti-Spell, double evenly matched, which is probably what this is getting cut for, and 3 Droplet. This is what I ran tonight. These, I don't remember what these were. These were something else. What were these? Shit. Because I knew what these were. What was the card I cut? I don't remember the card I cut, but these were ultimately better, so I went with Droplet instead. This is gonna change the whole thing. Because like D-Shift is really good. I'm looking for D-Shift to get banned, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's time. It's gonna happen. Whether you, your brother, sister, your favorite people that you see on face of the earth, this card's getting banned. Sorry, it ain't staying. That's the entire deck. So now I can explain stuff. That's getting cut because this has a weakness. I can only go so far into detail because I am working with a professional team, so that mine I can only go so far into detail. I can't give away all my secrets, but that card I hate. I hate Brute. So, well, this card could come up. No, this card never comes up. Because the reason this card doesn't is you have to destroy a Dinomorphia you control to begin with. So, this card is ultimately just bad. Second of all, you destroy one card your opponent controls. You can't destroy your own shit. If I could destroy anything on my field, this card, I'd have set it in. It'd have been great. But no. I hate if this was destroy one, banish one your opponent controls. Perfect. I'd have played it. This card's just so bad. I can't pay out my life points for this stupid shit. If I'm gonna destroy my own stuff, I'll just freaking swing into a freaking mirror jade. Like, Jesus. I don't like Brute, personally. Not my style. Forget this is my freaking Dinomorphia mat that I can't slide. There we go. I just hate Brute. I'm gonna cut it. I'm tired of it. This card never came up. It was a dead spot in my side for 2 days in a row. I've never even thought to side this in. Never have I looked at it and been like, well, there's an opportunity to where I could break boards with this card. No, this card is just bad. How do you break boards? By popping your card and your opponent's. You're not solving anything. No, I don't play SP Little Knight in the extra deck, in case of you all wondering, because I just don't find it to be a good card in this deck, personally. SP Little Knight is a fantastic card, not in this deck. This deck doesn't summon that many times. Plus with fusion summoning most of the time, so. So I don't like Brute. I'm gonna end up cutting that card. Shifter, it's degenerate, but my deck can play through it really easily. I actually don't really need anything engraved. Turn 1. Turn 2, I do what I did to everybody else. I Shifter, and then I set 5 pass. So, not much to be said there. This card is kind of easy for me to use. So. The minute I found that out, I was like, okay, Shifter's gone. We're cutting that card. Obviously, against Dinomorphia, this came up huge twice. This was a really good card to use. Against both Branded Despia players, I went first game 1 against the second Branded Despia guy. His name's Dustin. Plays at my locals, obviously. And then the actual first dude I played against Branded Despia, I lost the die roll, and I had to go second, and this card actually broke his board. Game 2, game 1, I locked him into Gozen with only his Fallen of Albaz, and he didn't have any dragons or Branded Fusion to get to, because he was trying to make Mirror Jade with my, well, I forget how he got it out. Actually, game 1, he made me go first and tried to use Albaz to go into Mirror Jade, and then realized that I was under 500 life points and he couldn't go into Mirror Jade. Anyway, this card just broke its board all day. I actually, with this deck, almost broke a going second Branded Despia board when I couldn't stop Branded Fusion, Albion, or Libellion, and he had Sanctifier and a bunch of other stuff on. I almost broke the board, which was kind of crazy. And I even dropleted in that game too, which made a huge difference. So for anti-spell, this card will be changed because it is a floodgate, and I do understand that, you know, it goes for multiple turns. I only need this to be active for a single turn. That's really where I'm at with this card. I only need one turn. When I realized that today, it was before the tournament. I realized I didn't need anti-spell. I knew that there's other ways to get to it. I will not explain the card that I'm going to be using in place of anti-spell, but I have a way to shut off spells or traps for like trap decks that have to go second against me. I do have ways of dealing with them entirely, and anti-spell is not the card. Anti-spell is very good, but I will not be using this simply because it locks me, and I want to play stuff that allows me to play and tells my opponent to go touch grass. So touch grass, eat ass, whatever you want to say. Evenly. I will not change this ratio probably, because this is super good. I like to see it. I like this to happen. I evenly matched one time today, and it was against Mikanko, and it worked for a minute, but everything else, no. Because I made him get rid of the Hore and the Arabesque, but he left the rivalry, the Mikanko rivalry, which led to my inevitable downfall because I couldn't outrisk this stuff. Which it is what it is. I don't currently have the Outsport, which is a shame, but Droplet is probably the MVP, and if I could have gotten to this in Top Cut, I could have beat Mikanko because I had the gas, I just couldn't use it. So, with that being said, that is the entire side deck, explained in a nutshell. Extra deck's pretty simple. This stuff's mandatory. You just have to know what to use in what situation. You can learn that on your own. Because if you can't deal with this, don't even try to comprehend this. Don't even try. Psychic and Punisher is one of the best cards in the deck. Don't make it very often, but when you do, your opponent is either forced to judgment this, negate the summon, or die. That is all they get, because your life points will be so low when you make this that you will automatically swing for game against anything. And if you are over 1,000 even by a hair. You can pay 1,000, banish one card you control, one card your opponent controls. This card is unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's cards. So, you can actually kill almost anything with this. Zeus, it isn't obvious. It's one of the best cards in the game right now. Typhon, which is the anti-Zeus. One of the best cards in the game right now. Never made it once. So, I'm not going to cut it because of its relevancy, but it is on chopping block as of right now to be cut. Bobor, Shakanine, I actually made these today, made Zeus today, and I made Lagia today, which led to my inevitable downfall against mikanko. But these cards are all good, and they're all in here for a reason. Most of them will be cut. I think I'm going to end up keeping Lagia and cutting these and a Stealth Bergia instead. Just that way I am able to have my main pieces, and everything that I don't need I can just go ahead and put on the chopping block to be cut. Main deck wise, I kind of explained things a little bit. This is super good at 3. I've always played it 2, but it's good at 3 because you can side one out, and you know you still have the 2 ratio, so you're still seeing it. So cards are super good. It's like a win con. I don't think I resolved it once today. Speaking of which, it always got bounced back to my hand, and I never had the moment to do it. The Imperms, these are being cut for the Supreme King package, so they're not that necessary. They will end up in the side deck, and I will give a follow-up video to this later. I have to consult my professional team before I do this, because I'm part of that team, and I'm obligated to let them know on every decision that I make. So, 3 Solemn Judgments and 3 Solemn Strikes. Wouldn't change these for the world. Their Solemns have been good since the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! That they came out in, and they are still holding up to today. So, I would definitely play these. Counter traps are kind of hard to out. Gozen. This might change depending. Because I know Fire Kings are supposed to become a thing. I think they're all mainly fire, so I might have to switch to Rivalry to actually shut them off. With Rescue Ace, I can shut them off from their most of their other stuff. So I think I'll probably do that instead, or I'll find another floodgate to play instead. I'll main something. It'll be unique. 3 intact, which is pretty obvious. You have to see these. These are more important than your Sonics. If you've never played the deck, it's literally the thing. Especially where these came out, and they are super, super good. They're more important than these, because monster negates, holdover, spell, and trap negates, even though this deck you're trying to out Harpy's Feather Duster, which is not particularly hard, especially when you have a card like this. So definitely play 3 intact, 2 Sonic. I want to boost this up to 2, but again, you don't want to do that because sometimes this card is really bad to draw into. I'd rather see my fusers than I would alert, or I'd rather see false digs. 3-2. So again, you heard me say before, I think this card is a really bad card compared to Domain. I think Domain is just an overall better card, because this keeps you from hitting super poly range, especially if you just open up that 5 pass, which happens a lot. I had it multiple times tonight against my buddy Dustin, which I felt bad for him, because he had to go up against the casual normal summon Theresia, set 1 and set 4 and pass, which was rather tough for him, but I've done it like, I believe 9 times today. I opened a hand like that, and then there was one hand where it was just absolute dog shit, and I conceded because I only had 1 playable card, which was Theresia, which was round 1 against Sword Soul, which was absolutely horrible. But yeah, I opened Domain. I went to activate Domain, got ashed, and then that was the end of it. But I think Domain is the best card in this deck over Frenzy. So, personally, Domain does it from anywhere except extra deck or banished, and Frenzy only does it from deck and extra deck. So I find Domain to be a way better card. 3 false decks. I'm gonna cut this down to 2 to play the third Frenzy. I think that's very necessary. Seeing this at 2 is fine because you'll see it. Don't run Prosperity because, again, extra deck is very important and you don't want to banish any of this stuff. I was testing it with Prosperity and I didn't like it because I either had to drop a Stealth Bergia or I had to drop a Punisher. Or if I was in a grind and I needed some cards, I was having to hit the engine that I needed in order to keep playing. So that's why I'm not playing Prosperity. So if you heard me, the whole Prosperity thing, and why I said I'm not playing Prosperity because the card's shit in this deck, that is exactly what I meant. So with that being said, I think you shouldn't play Prosperity in this deck. Because you kind of need your extra deck. And with the Zark package being added to this, you definitely need that stuff. So I do advise that you don't cut that shit. The duality, just like I said, I don't think I'd ever change this. This card's super good. Now you could possibly add another one, putting the deck to 41, but I personally wouldn't cut this card at all. This card's super good. I would play this over Prosperity any day, which I did tonight and did really well. So, duality. Play duality. Best hand trap of the format is definitely Ash. Another good hand trap you can play in place of Ash, if it becomes more relevant. Right now it is not relevant, but it is just as relevant as Ash Blossom is Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Simply because everyone is manipulating Grave and playing from the graveyard, and if you have a Ghost Bell, you can stop that. But I am playing Ash Blossom because this helps me beat any branded variants that do pop up. Helps me in the trap grind against Labyrinth, because this card allows me to just kill them. Because they personally do not play Solemn Strikes, which makes them a lot easier to deal with. So, with that being said, I play Ash Blossom over those. Next and foremost, best card in the deck is Misk. Card's super good, but there's no explanation needed there. 2 Diplos. Don't play 3. Don't play 1 because you definitely need to see the card at least twice per game. You can. This is why Domain's better, because you can get this back. Flip Domain. You can send 1 and the last Arisia from deck and get the win. So, because Kentragina does get quite huge over time. So 2 Diplos on this right. Then you max out on the best one, just Arisia. That being said, that is basically all the explanations needed for this deck and the build and the mind that I had behind it. I figure that this deck is going to get better over time, which it will, personally, because I'm going to do a lot of time correcting the build, which all I need is a few cards and I'm there. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments down below. If you need a combo guide on this to understand this, again, this is kind of hard to do, a combo guide on a trap deck like this, simply because I don't have an opponent to interact with. I can show you basically how you want to set up your inboard in order to face off against your opponent. I can show you that. That's exactly what I can do for you. The deck is consistent in what it does, and it is super good in what it can do. So without further ado, I'm Twitch Nation. We will see you in the next video. Thank you all for staying tuned and listening to this part of the video. A sub goes a long way in telling me what you guys like, prefer, and what you all want to see. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button, that like button, and comment down below. Also remember to turn on notifications, ring the bell, turn all notifications on so you get every single notification when I do upload. Thank you. Twitch Nation, out.